Welcome to Word on the Stage with me, Patrick Weemaels. This year's production, You Can't Take It With You, hits the Westlake stage November 22nd through the 24th. Today, we're diving deep into how it's all going. We'll be speaking with the cast and directors about this upcoming play. Let's go to the cast right now to see how things are going behind the scenes. How do you feel about this year's show?
I feel that this year's show is very good. It features all the seniors very nicely. I feel like it's a fun show and the cast is very good and we're all going to have fun.
How do you feel about this year's cast?
I feel actually pretty good about it. I feel like all of the places were well-deserved and it really went down from senior, junior, sophomore, and freshman. I think both of them got, all of them got a good placement, and I think the show will be very good from the casting.
So what's it like rehearsing with the Williams?
Oh, it's tons of fun. You know, they always find a way to make each rehearsal fun and engaging, even when we're just doing something kind of boring, like blocking.
What's some advice you could say to people who might be interested in theater?
Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You know, it's scary getting up on stage, but I don't know, just shake it out and get up there, do your thing. Nobody's gonna judge you. It's a safe space, so just go up there and be yourself.
And now we head over to the directors, Toni and Mike Williams. How long have you two been working together?
This is our eighth year
Yep.
at Westlake, at least as the directors. We started with the middle school plays, the middle school musicals, and then probably this is our fourth drama at the high school. So all in all, 8 years and 2 shows a year for the last 4.
Yeah.
What both got you into theater and directing?
Westlake High School, middle school.
Yeah, we met doing theater here at Westlake in high school.
We're both graduates.
We're both graduates. We both went into the entertainment industry after that, and then we came back to New York and decided to both be in education, but still loved doing theater, loved being a part of theater. So when the opportunity came to work together at Westlake, we jumped on it.
Yeah, it's nice to give back into a program that, really helped us figure out what we wanted to do all those years ago, which we did for quite a long time until we had kids of our own who went through the district and did some theater themselves.
It was very full circle for us to be back here at Westlake doing theater on this side of the stage.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the play.
You Can't Take It With You is an older comedy, drama as we call it at Westlake, because you have the drama and the high school musical. It's a play that was written probably in the 1930s, and it's sort of timeless in its messaging, which I won't give too much about, but it's really
about this zany family who doesn't really take themselves too seriously, who really just enjoy life and make the most of every moment, regardless of what the outside world is telling them or giving them.
And it comes across a family who maybe looks at things a little bit differently than the zany family does.
Taking on a play with 19 cast members is tough to handle. How do you guys manage it?
Well, considering we just left auditions for a middle school musical where 97 kids are auditioning and we don't cut.
Yeah, 19 seems pretty good.
We actually try to do, the dramas are never that large in cast size. Last year I think we had 13, the year before maybe similar, and we want to continue to give students an opportunity to be a part of this, what we call educational theater, and 19 was the biggest one we could find this year, and still was a comedy, because I think the students really wanted to do something funny this year.
I think we're happy to work with as many high schoolers as possible. We love working with the high school students. It's definitely a different vibe than the middle school. And at this stage, we're working with 19 students who love to do this, love to be a part of it. So it's actually really easy to manage, because I think we all really want to be here. We're all really excited to do it.
High schoolers can manage themselves a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's age appropriately managing themselves. Yeah.
And finally, what can you say to people who might be interested in theater?
Do it. Try it, for sure. If you have any idea at all, I think that you maybe like a piece of it or a part of it, I would definitely give it a shot. I think it's a good place for a lot of people to find where they belong. So I would say if you even a little bit think maybe I would like to be part of something, I would say do it.
And it doesn't have to be on stage. We could certainly use help backstage with lighting, sound, sets, costumes, props, whether it's acting or following along with the script as a script supervisor, anything you can think of that the theater might need help in. It's not just in front of...
Lots of different areas of creativity.
and I know it can be daunting to think about, oh, I never did this, so what am I going to now all of a sudden start as a junior in high school? The answer is yes.
It's a very welcoming community of people.
It is very welcoming. And there are a lot of people who don't find that they're interested in acting or theater until after high school. And generally those people always say, I wanted to do it in high school, but I was a little too intimidated by it. There's no reason to be intimidated by theater.
Yeah, we've come across that quite a bit with adults. So yeah, I would say no regrets. Go for it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
Pleasure to be here.
Yep.
And now, I will discuss with just Mike Williams about the 25th anniversary of Blair Witch Project, and also his new upcoming film, Ghost Game. Hey, movies is my thing. Why don't we just do it together?
This year marks the 25th anniversary for the Blair Witch Project. How did you celebrate the milestone?
We've done a lot of screenings. Actually, we did a screening at a benefit called O Positive up in Kingston. We did a 25th anniversary screening with one of the directors and one of the cast members and myself, and we raised a bunch of money for Artists Without Healthcare, which was really an important cause for all of us. So we celebrated and got to watch the film together, which we probably haven't done in 25 years, and then did a Q&A afterwards, and that was fun. And then next weekend, I'm going to Maryland where we shot it, and we're also doing another screening of the Blair Witch Project along with a new small film that I did called Ghost Game. So we've done some screenings, and we've done some, I did a festival in April in Kansas City. So there's been screenings popping up around the country, and when I can go and be with other cast members or crew members, I've done a bunch of that.
We call it Ghost Game.
How has this film's legacy impacted you?
I would say it's been a positive impact for sure. I mean, the fact that they're bringing us to conventions and doing screenings 25 years later is amazing. I never thought I'd be a part of something that would continue to be talked about, and it's continually talked about and referenced in pop culture, and it's just something that has always kind of been with me. And I'm proud of the work because it was just a nitty-gritty, down and dirty independent film that we shot on a super low budget. But, got to work with some amazing actors and people that were super creative in creating what they now call, we sort of started a new genre called found footage, which we unintentionally did. So it's been a very big impact and generally positive.
Do you consider this your greatest work or achievement?
No, I actually consider doing theater at Westlake, coming full circle, a great achievement that I take pride in both, but there's something extraordinary about being able to help kids and work with students and watching them grow and develop, and not just as actors but as humans, is definitely more rewarding. Although it's amazing to be a part of the Blair Witch Project, I would think there are other things in my life that are bigger accomplishments. My family, my career, things like this are certainly, when I say like this, I mean the theater program here at Westlake, are just equally as big, if not bigger.
Have you seen the sequel?
There have been 2 follow-up films. I've seen both. I enjoyed the 2016 one, which was the most recent one. It was just kind of our film on steroids, I would say, for a new generation. So I kind of dug that one.
We heard you have a new film coming soon. If you would like to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Actually, as of today, you could rent it video on demand, Prime, Apple. It's called Ghost Game. Tiny little independent horror film. But independent horror films have done well for me, and it was nice to work with another young director and a young cast and play a part of a guy who kind of loses his mind a little bit because there's something happening in the house around him. So it's a fun film, and hopefully you can check it out.
And is there anything you'd like to promote, your social media or your business or anything here at Westlake?
We want to talk about You Can't Take It With You, which is coming the weekend before Thanksgiving, and the dramas here at Westlake are second to none. We have the best talent probably in the county, state, and I'd argue beyond. We won some ESAGs last year for the actors, 2 of which I'm standing here doing an interview with, for the production, and that's been just incredible because it's not about us, it's about you guys and the people that are doing theater here, and it's just a really committed community, and I'm grateful for the town of Mount Pleasant, the Mount Pleasant School Board, and Mr. Shanker and Dr. Gia Rizzo and everybody who supports theater here. It's incredible how much support our district gives theater. So please come out and see it. It's like our kids' sectional playoff game. It's it's a big deal. It's like making it to the States. And one thing I would say is not a lot of people come see the dramas because it's not the big musical, but you'd be blown away every year by how good the dramas are here.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Either acting in a play or directing it, it takes a lot of encouragement and strength to pull through. That's why I hope on November 22nd through the 24th, you can come see You Can't Take It With You on Westlake Stage. And also, don't forget to stream Ghost Game, available on Apple TV, Prime Video, and on demand. Now, let's head over to Henry Sliss for Movies of the Month.
Hello, this is Henry Sliss with the W, and welcome to another episode of Movies of the Month. October has many big movies coming out, far more than last month. We'll start off with Joker Folie à Deux, the sequel to the critically acclaimed Joker film. This time, Joaquin Phoenix is joined by legendary recording artist Lady Gaga as the Harley to his Joker. In a twist truly no one expected, this is a musical film. This film has been getting lambasted online. Almost no one is enjoying it. Personally, I'm waiting for it to come out on Max. Another comic book sequel comes out at the end of this month. Venom: The Last Dance is the third and final installment in Sony's Venom trilogy. The hype online for this movie is real, especially now that the powerful Marvel villain Null is involved. If you are not a Marvel fan, you can go ahead and skip this one for now, but definitely consider giving the Venom movies a shot. Saturday Night is a retelling of the events that transpired back in 1975, the night the first episode of Saturday Night Live premiered. This dramatization has a cast that looks so eerily similar to the people they're portraying that it's almost too perfect. This movie looks very promising, and if you're like me and want to do a bit of preparation, Peacock is streaming the first ever episode of SNL for free right now, so be sure to check it out before seeing the film. I loved it. The story and the actors, it's simply fantastic and reminded me a lot of how it feels to direct the sketch comedy show. 9 out of 10. Now, let's get into what October moviegoers are really looking for: horror films. Smile 2, the highly anticipated sequel to 2022's critically acclaimed horror film, is a fresh new take on everything in the world of Smile that captured audiences with the first film. It follows Naomi Scott's character running from the Smile entity as it forces her closer and closer to the brink of insanity. Terrifier 3 is the long-awaited third installment in the Terrifier series. This film seems to have an almost Nightmare Before Christmas thing going, since it's a Christmas movie that should really be watched around Halloween. This genuinely looks like the goriest movie ever, and that is why I will be staying far away from this film. In fact, I think I can only show about a fifth of the trailer footage. It's that crazy. Mr. Crockett is a Hulu exclusive film coming this month, based on an episode of Bite-Sized Halloween. It features a terrifying Mr. Rogers-type character crawling through the TV to steal children away from their homes. In this movie, there are several scenes featuring puppets. This pink bird here is played by professional puppeteer and puppet builder John Cody, who we are joined by now.
This is Henry Sliss with the W, and I am here with John Cody, puppeteer. Before we get started with the questions, would you like to give us a bit of background in your work in puppetry and with film?
Been a professional, I suppose, for over a decade now, working for various companies like the Jim Henson Company and Nickelodeon, Disney.
What was your favorite part about working on this film in particular?
Working on Mr. Crockett was really unlike anything I had done up to that point. Because I'm a puppeteer, it's usually the stuff I'm working on is for children, and usually really little children. So there's a lot of guardrails in terms of what you can and can't do, can or cannot say, which it's good. Kids need guardrails, but to work on like an R-rated movie was really freeing, and it's just like super fun just to be on set and feel like we could kind of do whatever we want, and and we were encouraged to be scary and intense, which is often like the exact opposite of what you want from a children's show. So yeah, it was just like super unique. We shot it a year and a half ago. I still haven't worked on anything else, I think, quite like this in terms of just super adult R-rated stuff.
So I actually didn't get a chance to watch the movie yet. I'll be doing that this weekend, absolutely. have you seen the movie, and how do you feel about the final product and how it turned out?
Yeah, so we actually watched the movie the day it came out. I was on tour. I tour with the Avett Brothers, and it's me and 8 other puppeteers. And so on the tour bus, we put on the movie, turned off all the lights, watched it, and everyone had a really great time with it. It's super fun. I mean, it starts right away. The first scene, there's a puppet within, I think, the first minute or two. So it was just like, hey, I get to see my work on screen. And there's a couple of parts in the movie that were fun for me because I wasn't on set certain days. I was only on set when the puppets are being used, obviously. It was super fun, and I think it's a super, super fun horror movie. It's not too scary. I think it serves the audience it was setting out to please. You know, it's the right amount of like cartoonish and horrific and gory and silly and retro. I think it's a lot of fun, and I know that they want to make more of them, but I really hope we get to make more of them. But I'm really happy with just how this movie turned out.
Without getting into spoilers or anything, was there a favorite scene that you worked on, or a favorite puppet that you had that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few. So I play a few different puppets, but primarily I do Squawky Bird. And Squawky Bird actually has 2 versions of the puppet, and I'll leave it at that because that's maybe a spoiler. We had a lot of fun. Like the first day or two, we needed to film material that would be in the montage of the Mr. Crockett's World theme song. My character does not speak words; it only speaks in bird squawking.
Okay.
So I had to do this whole improvised scene where I can't verbally respond, but we like totally connected, me and Elvis, who played Mr. Crockett. I know there's bits of that scene in the movie. I would love to see like the full take, because, you know, we had a whole scene where Mr. Crockett was like teaching Squawky Bird the hustle. And also it was fun because we had kids on set who were really excited to see the puppet.
Okay.
And, you know, we did a whole like hide and seek game. We did a number of games. There was one day, I forget which kid exactly it was. It was just in between takes. We weren't even filming anything. And this kid comes up to, I'm in a window as Squawky Bird, so my human body is hidden. And so he's just seeing the bird. This kid is just seeing this bird and starts just having a whole conversation with Squawky. And again, I cannot speak English. I'm just doing and we just end up having this whole conversation, and I'm just trying to, you know, gesture and stuff to get my ideas across. But, you know, I was just trying to entertain this kid between setups, and then I realized, you know, when we were almost done talking, I was like, oh, they started filming on this because they noticed that we were just like having this like really for real moment in life. And I'm not sure if any of it ended up in the movie, but it was just a really fun experience. In the first scene of the movie, I don't play Squawky Bird. I play a different character. Okay. I play a piece of furniture that comes alive. It was a fun scene, and it's this great way to start off the movie, but we did shoot it in July in a very small house with no air conditioning. It was 90-something degrees out.
Oh my goodness.
And I was on the floor to operate this piece of furniture. I'm on the floor. And we also like filmed until like 1 a.m. that day.
Oh my god.
It was crazy, but it was good. And this was my first movie as a puppeteer, as a performer. To be on set of this movie and to be more directly involved in the making of it was a huge treat for me. I'm a huge movie fan, and yeah, it was really, really fun.
And last thing, is there anything you want to promote, any upcoming projects, or just social media or business or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, you can follow me on all social media platforms at John Cody Stuff. That's JohnCodyStuff. And watch Mr. Crockett on Hulu. It's short and sweet. It's only 80 minutes, so it moves, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much, John, and let's get back to the movie roundup.
Amazing stuff. I watched it the other night. It's definitely an acquired taste, but if you're anything like me, you will love this movie. Elvis Nolasco certainly has big things in his future and shows tremendous acting chops in this film. Within the opening minutes, this movie cemented itself as one of my favorite horror movies I've ever seen. It's like it was made for me. If you've got Hulu, check Mr. Crockett out and let me know what you think. Pharrell Williams, known for songs such as Happy and Double Life from the Despicable Me films, is coming out with a biopic and animated entirely in Lego. Piece by Piece is all about Pharrell's life, his rises and falls, and everyone who helped him along the way. A creative and fun way to tell the story of his rise to fame. The Apprentice is a biopic about the very controversial former president Donald Trump. The movie seems not to be a puff piece or a hit piece, trying to tell the story in a politically neutral way while still portraying the characters' egos to a T. Conclave is a film about selecting a new pope in the Vatican. Along the way, Cardinal Lawrence uncovers the secrets of the past and various religious leaders' corruption that makes him rethink his entire worldview and puts the future of the church in his hands. And finally, as discussed previously, out now is Michael C. Williams' latest film, Ghost Game. It is a classic haunted house story with some twists and turns that are sure to keep you on the edge of your seat. And those are your movies of the month for October. Which ones will you be seeing? Thanks again for John Cody coming on the show, and I will see you next month.